On a hot summer day, the Eiffel Tower is measurably taller than it is on a freezing winter morning, and it has nothing to do with construction or renovation. It's simple physics. The Eiffel Tower is built almost entirely out of wrought iron, and like nearly all metals, iron expands when it heats up and contracts when it cools down. This property is called thermal expansion, and while it's usually too small to notice in everyday objects, the Eiffel Tower is over 300 meters of solid iron exposed directly to the sun, which is more than enough for the effect to show up in a very real, measurable way. On the hottest days of summer, the tower can grow by around 15 centimeters compared to its height on a cold winter day. That's about 6 inches taller purely from heat. The iron beams absorb sunlight, heat up, and physically expand outward and upward across the entire structure. There's an even stranger side effect. On sunny days, one side of the tower faces direct sunlight, while the other side sits in shade, which means one side heats up and expands more than the other. Engineers have documented the top of the tower actually leaning slightly away from the sun, tilting up to around 18 centimeters, because the sun-facing side expands and effectively pushes that section outward. This is exactly why the tower's original engineers, led by Gustave Eiffel himself back in the 1880s, designed the structure with built-in expansion joints and a very deliberate lattice framework instead of one rigid solid mass. A completely rigid structure that couldn't flex with temperature changes would eventually crack or warp under that kind of repeated stress. Eiffel essentially built breathing room into the design more than a century before anyone worried about it. So next time you visit Paris, keep in mind that the exact height of the Eiffel Tower depends on the weather that day. Show up in August, and you're technically looking at a slightly taller tower than the one tourists saw in January.
Quack, quack.